Brother K,
Yeah.
you mind telling me for my YouTube channel
Sure.
what you're doing out here and what the signs are about?
Yeah. You want to record then?
Yeah, I'm recording right now.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, the Bloodstained Men, we protest in 60 cities a year. We're here on a 21-day tour of the Northeast Seaboard from Delaware to Maine. We are attempting and successfully reaching the American people with the message that circumcision is cruel, destructive, it's a violation of human rights, it's worthless, it's barbaric, it is savage. There's nothing bad you can say that even approaches how awful and disgusting circumcision of a baby boy is. It is not medicine. It never was medicine. American doctors have concealed the fact that it's an ancient religious sacrifice, and they have financial and other ulterior motives for doing it to our nation's sons. They don't tell parents the truth about it. We've got all these broken-hearted mothers out there. They're called regret moms. They're just young, naive moms when they have their babies, and the doctors and nurses manipulate them into signing a consent form to get part of their baby's penis cut off, which is circumcision. It cuts off the best part of the human penis, and it's a lifelong wound. So we've got moms out there who are broken-hearted when they get back their broken baby, their broken newborn baby, and they see the injury, and then they see him suffer for 1 or 2, 3 weeks before it heals over. It will heal over, but he's never the same. He has lost the best, what someone's called the foreskin, the motherboard of your penis. He's lost the best part of his penis, and that's just a fact. There has been research done. Morris Sorrells and his crew of scientists, doctors, did fine touch studies. You can find that on through Google. Look up circumcision fine touch sensitivity studies. Morris Sorrells, Sorrells, and they identified 5 regions. The 5 most sensitive regions on the male penis are on the foreskin. And so when you cut off a man's foreskin when he's a baby, he has lost the 5 most sensitive areas of his penis. The most sensitive area left on a circumcised man's penis is, oddly enough, the circumcision scar, because it's the remnant of where the foreskin was attached, and that is the most. And this is in the Sorrell study, published by reputable and peer-reviewed journals. It's just absolutely barbaric what the American circumcision industry is doing to American boys. And we're here with information. We hand out our information cards. You can see Bloodstained Men and their friends. You can see our website there, bloodstainedmen.org or bloodstainedmen.com. Either one works. You can find links to all the information I'm giving you. On the top left of our website is the link to the European medical community's condemnation of American doctors for circumcising our sons. They issued an official statement through Pediatrics magazine. American doctors, 38 European doctors, physicians got together and issued a joint statement in 2013 condemning American doctors for circumcising American babies. It goes on and on and on, the condemnation and the critique of American circumcision. It is absolutely worthless and brutal. It's a real tragedy for the American people that it's happening to so many of us, and the men we become, and to our sons and to our babies. So American doctors are guilty of a historical violation of human rights against the American people. They're the only doctors in the world that are doing this and promoting this to moms and dads, to babies in the hospital. They're alone in the world.
And what would you say to people who say they circumcise their child to protect them from future diseases in their penis, from it being being infected, future infections and stuff like that?
Yeah. All of that is easily debunked. When you see the European condemnation on our website, you'll see their answer to that. But the bottom line is that all those maladies that you just listed are lower in Europe, where they do not circumcise. America, it has higher rates of STIs, higher rates of HIV, and the cancer thing is just absolutely ludicrous. There's no link. The American Cancer Society has condemned any link between circumcision and cancer of the penis or cancel the cervix in women. It's just absolutely ludicrous. The circumcision industry is a pack of liars, and that's really hard for parents to swallow. But the fact is, what I say to parents is, you were duped, you were lied to, you bought the lie, you were brought up in a circumcising culture, you were taught and indoctrinated to believe that it's normal to cut off that part of a man's penis. When European women, for example, first see a circumcised man, they're like shocked, like, where's the rest of it? And I've had European women tell me that they thought the man had been injured in an industrial accident. It is absolutely a gruesome wound to someone who has never seen anything but a normal penis. So I say to American parents, you only except in the most extreme cases of parents who are rabidly pro-circumcision. Most parents aren't. They just went along with what the doctors said. They trusted. They were perhaps young parents, naive, a bit gullible, as we all are when we're young. And moms and dads have been betrayed by the people they thought they could trust on this issue. American doctors do not tell. Some do. So I'm not issuing a blanket condemnation, but all too many American doctors hide the truth from parents, and they know it. They know how much that baby suffers. These babies vomit and defecate and go into shock. They go unconscious during circumcision. Some have heart attacks. Some stop breathing. It is just absolutely barbaric. Some begin bleeding, and the parents don't see their baby for 2 or 3 hours while the baby's being circumcised, because the doctors don't want to bring back a bleeding baby, and they work hard to stop the bleeding. It happens every day, even as we're speaking. There's a baby somewhere just bleeding from his penis in a way that doctors did not predict, because it's such a tiny. Think of your little finger, or think of a woman's little finger. A baby's penis is even smaller than that. To think that you can operate on something that small without significant and common complications and errors is ludicrous. And those common complications and errors happen every day, dozens of them, if not hundreds. We don't know the statistics. The circumcision industry fights all efforts to even track the damage it's causing. Circumcision is the one surgery for which no doctor, no hospital has to keep records or answer for. It's just absolutely, and moms and dads, I extend my heart to you to open your mind to this barbaric thing that may have been done to your son, and to understand that you do not have to circumcise your second son if you unfortunately fell into the circumcision trap for your first son. There are many parents who have one circumcised son and 1, 2, 3, and 4 intact sons subsequent when they learn the truth.
Right, so about 20 minutes ago, I heard a guy, as he was walking by, he was looking at the signs, and he's just saying to his friend, he said, "That's from God. Why would they want to ban circumcision?" What would you say to someone who says banning circumcision would be an infringement on someone's religious rights?
That's a good question. First off, I would say that even assuming that there is, or that a parent does believe they have a religious mandate, American doctors don't do religious surgery. That is beyond the scope of American medicine. American doctors don't do religious surgery, or they would do female circumcision for Muslim parents who demand it, because Muslim parents believe just as strong, some believe just as strongly in female circumcision for religious reasons as some American parents do for male circumcision for religious reasons. Secondly, when that boy, no matter what his parents believe, what their religion is, they have a right to their beliefs. But the Supreme Court has found, and will find on this issue someday, we don't know when, that a parent's religious beliefs cannot be carved into the genitals of a child. There is no excuse to cut off part of a child for your religious beliefs. If your religious beliefs tell you that that's necessary, you can cut off part of your body, or your child can make that decision when they are an adult. But because you are taking away their religious rights. My religion, for example, demands that I stay intact, that I am intact. My religious rights were taken away from me at birth. I had a religious right too. It's not just parents who have religious rights. Children have religious rights. They have the right to have a body that is not marked with someone else's religion, whether it's their parents or not. You as a parent, and I don't mean you, but the audience, do not have the right to mark your children with your religion. That is not your right. That your son, your daughter, they have human rights, and that is the right to a normal, God-given body when they're an adult. If they want to adopt your religion, then they can get cut on with their own decision when they're an adult.
Right. What do you think should be done about the circumcision problem we have in America?
It's a really difficult problem. We're out here holding up our signs. People say to me, where's the vote? When do I vote? And what I say is that you vote when your baby is born and when that doctor or nurse asks the first unethical question. They should never ask you, do you want your son circumcised? That is an unethical question. That is soliciting surgery. But bottom line, you vote no on circumcision when you say no to circumcision for your son or for your grandson. Grandparents are also helping out. We've got grandparents in this movement, and they're teaching their own children and standing up for their grandchildren. So we're just right now we are on a 21-day tour. We're just trying to reach people on the streets, people passing by in cars. We make it onto local media. Delaware Online posted a great interview with Harry Gierman yesterday, and some live footage, some footage of us. That's on Delaware Online. You can find that on the internet.
All right.
So we get a lot of coverage on the media as well, which expands our outreach to the public. What should be done ultimately is that the United States federal female genital mutilation law, which allows no excuses for female circumcision, and it specifically states that the beliefs of the parent shall have no bearing upon this law. In other words, your religious beliefs as a parent don't give you the right to circumcise your daughter. We believe that law should become all gender inclusive, extend to boys, girls, intersex. All children have the same right to be free of genital mutilation during childhood.
And how long has it been that it's been illegal for females to have genital mutilation?
The FGM law in the United States was passed in 97 and became effective in 98, I believe. Lori? Harry? The federal FGM law, did it become effective in 97 or was it passed in 97?
It was passed in 96.
It was passed
became effective in 97.
So, yeah. So it became effective, FGM law. So it's been for 21 years now. American girls have been protected by federal law from female genital mutilation. No excuses. The beliefs of the parents have no bearing.
Right.
And in fact, right now there's a federal case against a Detroit doctor who's been circumcising girls in Michigan, it's a belief of a Muslim group that believes in female circumcision, and so she was doing it secretly to these girls, and she's now on the first prosecution of a doctor for female circumcision. We don't know where that's going to go, but that's currently pending in federal court in Detroit.
All right. There's people that I've talked to about circumcision before have told me that they're grateful that they were circumcised as a baby because they wouldn't want to be circumcised as an adult. What would you say to someone who
Right.
says that?
Well, the American circumcision industry has been very successful at spreading the urban legend that circumcision is inevitable in a man's life. And so based upon that myth that it's inevitable, they're saying, well, since he's going to have to be circumcised as a man, he might as well be circumcised as a babe. It's a straw man argument. Circumcision is not only not inevitable in a man's life, it is rare in a man's life in all the intact nations of the world. They don't practice circumcision, and circumcision is not part of their medical procedures. They treat problems of the foreskin, the rare ones that happen. I mean, women also have gynecological problems with their vulva. Those are treated with antibiotics. They're not treated with amputation. And so circumcision is the only surgery that amputates part of the genitals to anticipate problems that usually never occur, and when they do occur are minor and easily solved with antibiotics or other problems. So what I say to men who say that argument is, you have been duped. Circumcision is was not inevitable in your life, and it's only in the United States where the circumcision lobby has successfully made it seem inevitable. One tactic they developed is called forced retraction. So you'll run into men who will say, well, I had a nephew, or I had a brother or a cousin or a friend that had to be circumcised when he was 15. Very painful. He kept having problems. The reason why American men, when they're children, keep having these so-called problems with their foreskin when they're children is because doctors have spread a false care technique called forced retraction. They tell the parents to pull back the foreskin and wash underneath it. That would be like spreading open a woman and scrubbing inside her vulva. It causes the problems that have become inevitable, that are believed to have become inevitable for American men. It's what's called an iatrogenic injury, an injury caused by doctors. Forced retraction. At birth, the foreskin is fused to the head of the penis. It's a single unit. There's nothing to clean under. It's fused the way your fingernail is fused to the bed of your finger. Only slowly as the boy grows, and it happens differently for every individual, does that membrane that connects the inner foreskin to the head of the penis, the glans, does that membrane dissolve and the foreskin becomes retractable. But that happens at a different age for every individual. It can happen for some boys at 1, 2, 3 years old. It can happen at 6, 7 years old. The most common age for the foreskin to become retractable is 10 years of age, but it can happen at 13, it can happen at puberty, and some 1 or 2% of men are never retractable, and they live fine. They live healthy lives. So it comes down to knowing the anatomy of the male and not fiddling with it and letting him grow and develop normally, and he won't have to be circumcised. And the Europeans attest to that. It's just they're horrified when they hear what's going on in the United States.
Right on. Well, thanks for what you're doing out here. Probably about 10 years ago, I was riding my bike down to work in San Diego, and either you or someone who was dressed like you guys were out there protesting circumcision. It was a subject I never thought about before that, so it got me thinking. And my first thought was, I don't even remember being circumcised. Why would I think that this is something that, it's a terrible thing that happened? I don't even remember it. But when you look at it deeper, I mean, taking off the most sensitive part of someone's body and a surgery with no antibiotic or nothing to stop the pain.
Anesthetic, yeah.
Anesthetics is it's brutal. And it's something that, without you guys being out here, something I would have never thought about before. So keep up the good work.
Great, thank you, David, and thanks for coming out here and interviewing us, and make yourself at home. And I know other people will be happy to talk to you. And thank you for helping spread the word with your friends and the viewers.
Right on. Thanks.
Okay, man, excellent. Good questions.